I hear a hello. I can gauge, I don't know. I can hide the feeling.
Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Ete with another episode of The Creator Next Door. Today I'm here with my friend Rob from the band The Bright Slide. Rob, how are you?
Doing so good. Thank you for having me.
He's doing good. Awesome. So what let me introduce you first and we'll do a little bit about. So Rob, I met him a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I think it was at a Velour Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, it was.
And
that was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And so at the time you were in a band called Cephas.
Mm-hmm. Cephas.
And you guys were like going all out. I mean, their gear was like painted in glow-in-the-dark paint. Their faces were super cool stage presence. Do you still do that kind of stuff today? Like, are you still painting up and caring about the presentation of the show?
Yeah. We try to kind of improve on it. We definitely have gotten better. I think at that time we used like actual highlighters on our face and then black lights. And it's really cool with a black light, but we've got like better stuff for that. So. Yeah. I mean, a lot has changed, but in that aspect, not a lot has changed.
Awesome. So, yeah, that was a few years ago, and you switch bands, or actually some of the same members, but you just kind of you moved over to the Bright Slide. Mm-hmm. Why did you do that? What happened there?
So we kind of went through what was it, like 11 band members, and like only by the end we finally had a drummer who stuck in there. So it was me, the drummer, and then Melissa, our bassist. And we just realized we wanted to go in a different direction musically, and a lot of it was, at least for me, I was super unhappy with where the music was going with Cephas, because Cephas was super, I would say like folk pop, and it was trying to fit into this mold that I perceived with the music scene here in Utah. Because I just moved to Utah, I was like, let's dive into the scene. We went through all my songs, tried to. It sucked.
Almost. So you were kind of like tailoring it to the sound here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what it felt like. I mean, I wrote a lot of these songs, and then I showed the band. They chose which ones they liked. We made some changes, but it was kind of like, which songs can appease everybody? How can we please everybody the most, and fit in here to get some momentum? And that's I hated that, and so that's kind of why we changed directions. We had this other direction going that we were starting to find in ourselves, because we were doing music for a few years in there where we were like, okay, well, let's try this direction.
Gotcha. So it's a little bit of a pivot in the song, the content, the songs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you came to Utah. Where are you coming from? Where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Wyoming, unfortunately.
Wyoming? Where's that? No.
Yeah.
For those listeners who are not local, like I once was from Jersey, Wyoming is right above Utah.
Yeah.
In some ways, yeah. So you can get there close. What part of Wyoming?
Powell, Wyoming. So it's like 8 hours away. It's by the Montana border, so it's like way up there. So.
Is there a population there? Like, are there people there?
Yeah. I live in like a big city, and there's like 6,000 people.
Oh. What was the music scene there?
Well, there really isn't, unfortunately. I mean, I think they try, but there's only so much you could do in Wyoming. And then I actually went to Idaho, and I had a band there, and from there, then I was like, you know what? I'll just move to Provo. The music scene's even better, and
cool.
That's what brought me here.
One of the things that I like about what Rob's doing and the rest of the band. Sorry, we don't have the whole band here. So for the rest of you guys, was it Melissa? Give me the names again.
Brad's the drummer, and then Sam joined us 2 years ago. He's the keyboardist.
Okay, Melissa, Brad, Sam. So anyway, you three, when you listen to this, we're trying to speak in behalf of you. We're thinking of you. So please don't feel left out. But one of the things I like about what you're doing is, there's this conflict sometimes in the music, especially on your most recent release.
Okay.
And let me go. I don't mean just because I like it because of the conflict, but what I think is fascinating about the music is you have great melodies. So there's great melodies. There's great vocals. Rob goes into falsetto. The melody writing is interesting. I mean, at times that's one of the most intriguing things to me. At times it feels like I'm listening to, more of just a fun indie pop song. At times there's like I don't want to say, I'm not hip hop at all, but the flow of what you do, it flies out, right? Okay. There are times, so you're kind of all over the place, but it's all good. Overall, the songs are fantastic. The quality is great. So I think the songwriting is just really great. but there's a little bit of a conflict sometimes. So the album kicks off, the latest album, with a song called Jealousy.
Yeah.
And, you're playing the ukulele? Okay,
Yeah.
so which always gives off this happy vibe. And it shows itself in the album a few times. Then so you start listening like, oh, this is fun. This is fun, happy pop sun music. And then as you get deeper and where I like to go, kind of in the deeper cuts, there's a layer of depth. There is some depth behind it all. And so I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe it's not as just straightforward happy pop as I thought it was. Anyway, so it's almost like an onion. Like you unravel and there's layers there.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
So I think you did a great job on the way you wrote these songs.
Thank you.
But in some ways, this album there's a little bit of a darkness to it.
Oh, for sure.
And so
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if that's where I want to start this interview, but we're already there. Let's just do it. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about it. What's going on? Why? Tell me about
why the darker element.
Well, with the fun sound. Did you intentionally set out to have that kind of vibe? Was that part of your sound, or is it just what it is?
Doing the band Cephas, I was still writing music. More, I was, trying to evolve as an artist and listening to artists that inspired me. I thought of like, they're so brutally honest, and I feel like I'm trying to write to fit this mold. And so for a while there, it was like I was living this secret life of just writing how I was actually feeling, which is really the reason why I got into music in the first place, because it was like this therapy for me. So anytime I was having a hard time, I was writing a song about it. And so then I actually came up with this like secret album, and then we kind of hit a wall with Cephas, and I showed them one song, and then they're like, well, let's do this. And that's kind of where that direction took off. But it was all because I was taking the liberty to write how I was actually feeling, and then creating demos and the band liking it. So I was like, okay, well, this could be a band vibe then. So,
and for me, maybe that's one of the things that attracts me to the album. There definitely is a high level of honesty, rawness, and vulnerability, which I think is, I know it can come off as dark for some, but I think it's refreshing. I think because there are ups and downs in life, this album reflects that. I think there are ups and downs. So with The Bright Slide, tell me a little bit about the creation process. So let's take, my favorite song is Ghosts.
oh, thank you.
And I actually want to play some of that. But before we get there, tell me a little bit about who's writing the songs. How are the songs coming alive?
Yeah. Okay, so for this whole album, we the way we approached it was, I wrote these songs, and then I showed them to the band, and then the band, usually when I show it to them, they will pick it apart, be like, oh, okay, well, let's change this lyric. And then for a while I was fighting. I was like, no, I don't want to change that. I don't want to change this. But we made changes. We made structural changes to like some of the choruses. Some of the songs changed quite dramatically. As for like, do you mean like Ghost in particular?
Yeah. How did that song come to be?
Usually when we're performing, I'll tell them about how I was living here in Provo, and I was going through a point in my life where I was feeling super like numb and dead inside, and it was I wasn't as familiar with feeling that way, and it was awful. And normally when I feel awful in any particular emotion, I can just like go somewhere with my guitar or my ukulele and just
Escape.
Yeah, and then I'll like write it out into a song. I feel better, it's like my therapist, which is kind of funny. It's just a piece of wood. But but basically during that 2-week period, I tried that, and nothing was coming out. And so I remember I just like went into my car after like 2 weeks of starting to feel like I could feel something again. And so then I wrote out what I was going through during those 2 weeks in my car, and so that's where the song came to be, and that was just like melodies on an instrument, and then we created a demo. We tried some cool synth sounds, arpeggiators, and then the ending. I wasn't planning that ending to just like crack into an intensity, but
okay.
It worked out.
So real quick, because you brought it up, I was going to bring that up. There's a moment in the song, so Ghost, and I'm actually going to play it for you guys, just probably this minute. But basically, well, you know what? Let's just play it first, and we'll talk about it.
It's hard to make
awesome, man. I love that part of the song, and I actually wanted to ask you. So it's funny you brought that up because the song is like got this vibe. It's going a direction, and then there's this millisecond of silence.
Yeah.
And when it comes in, dude, that might be my favorite moment of the album. When you come in with the guitars and the melody. I love the melody and the vocals almost have like, I don't know if there's a filter on them or what, but it's kind of got like Albert Hammond from the Strokes kind of vibe. There's just a lot going on. So
Thanks.
was that the way it was supposed to be? Did that happen by accident?
Yeah, that was an accident. I did actually. We kind of produced a demo version of this with another friend of ours in Wyoming, and the ending was supposed to just go on to this like floaty ending we were gonna have Mel's voice singing something along the lines of like "March On" or something like that. And it was sounding so dumb and so awful. So after that producer disappeared and we didn't see him for a long time, I restarted it on my own to re-demo the song, and then it just came to my head one day, and it's like I don't know where it came from, but I showed the band and they loved it, and so we all just put in our parts. And actually, I don't know if you know Corey from Spirit City. He's another band around here.
I know
Spirit City. Yeah, they're awesome. So he and Mel, she learns a lot of her bass stuff from him.
Okay.
And so he helped us figure out the bass part for the ending of that song too. So thanks to him and the whole band, it
just
turned
came
out
together.
super cool. Yeah.
I mean, and there are a lot of little ear candy, cool little things that happen in the album on the production side, which I think is fun. I thought, wow, that was really, the album felt like it was really thought out. It felt like there was a producer just listening from a third party and saying, oh, let's do this here, here, here. I don't know. Was there somebody producing the album outside of the band, or did you guys?
So, some of them, yes, some of them, no.
Okay.
We probably had... Yeah, I guess we had like 4 different producers, and so like one of them was Sam, our keyboardist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was very refreshing to work with different producers at times. Other times it's very frustrating because it's like we have this artistic vision and they're like totally not driving with that, and then that's a little tricky, but it's worth it.
Let me ask you this: you said about a few minutes back that you create the song and you bring it to the band, and they kind of tear it apart. In a sense. So, tell me about that, because I'm also a songwriter, and I know how hard that can be when you're writing something, you put your guts into it, and you just want these guys to love it and just be on board, and they tear it apart for the better.
Yeah.
To make it, because it's about the song, the music. But what's that like for you? Is that just an awful moment, or is
it was really hard at first.
Yeah.
It was a lot of like, wait, what? You want to change this word? Like, that changes the whole meaning of this part. And like, if we change this whole section, it means nothing to me now. And that was the issue with Cephas, is like we were performing these songs, and aside from like one of those songs, like I didn't feel like I didn't feel honest. I didn't want to perform them because I didn't care for these songs. Whereas these songs for the Bright Slide, I loved them so much that like every little alteration to the lyrics was like,
a stab?
Man, yeah, this sucks. And then like getting better at it. I know the band was mad at me for a little pieces of it, and then we've let go the further we've gone on, and it's definitely playing a part into like new music that we're gonna start working on, because like Melissa really wants to be involved, the bassist, with songwriting, and so we're just gonna try a bunch of new things. And I'm at the point where it's like, let's try anything and everything. Like I don't care. I mean, obviously I'll let my opinions known, but I'm also going to work on like my solo stuff.
Yeah.
And then I can have that creative freedom. And
Exactly.
and that's my outlet, my full outlet.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think Melissa's great. I mean, I've seen her play a few times, and she's good voice. Everything she does is awesome.
Yeah.
Good stage presence. She's great.
Yes, she is
So
great.
it's good to have good people working with you.
Yeah. Oh,
So how important is just honesty? Because you've mentioned it a few times, and just being real in the music for you.
yeah.
Because it sounds like that's kind of what struck a chord with you with the last project. So this project, you just you wanted to be all about that. How important is that to you?
It's way important, especially as we've been playing these songs more throughout the last couple of years. Like I said, with Cephas, there was only one song that I really clicked with, and so when I was performing it, it felt like I was having an emotional connection with the song that I could then perform and convey the song the way it should be, honestly. And so because of that one song, I think it was called like Sweet Talk by Cephas.
Yeah, I know
and
that
because of that song, I was just like, well,
I want more of this.
I want to do this. And so I just did it. And I wasn't even planning on like, hey band, like look at these songs, let's do it. I just showed them one song on a whim, and they loved it. And so we went with that direction, which helped me a lot because then it made me feel like I could honestly perform these songs and give it that emotion and something I could be proud of. Whereas I don't think I was proud before.
I think that's why, for me personally, I connect with the music is because I'm the same way. Like for me, look, I'm from Jersey. And I don't know if you know if that means anything, but that's like, it's pretty straightforward. You know, like honesty is really expected. In some ways, people are too honesty, right? Like too honest. You know, they'll tell you straight up, like, dude, I don't like you. And so as a songwriter, I can't get behind something that's not feeling genuine, honest. Like there's some substance behind it. Who are some of the artists that you listen to that you feel like have this level of honesty that inspire you?
The band 21 Pilots, because it was like, man, okay, so they're saying stuff that I click with, and like that's okay, and I was like, oh, that's okay that you can do that, and because I felt like I can do that here and there, but I just need to kind of fit a mold and be more like music that's acceptable by everybody, try to please everybody. Yeah. And so I mean that's why we were choosing Dumb Songs. so they kind of gave me that permission to be honest. And I guess Bright Eyes probably played a little bit in there
Connor.
too.
Yeah, Bright Eyes is great, man.
Yeah, and so that's why I think in their bio right now on our website it says like a combination between the two, because I definitely could feel an influence.
You know, and that helps because I didn't think of 21 Pilots. Chlorine is I think that's such a great song, by the way. They have 21 Pilots. Like, funny thing is today, my 9-year-old came in. He said, "Dad, my favorite band is 21 Pilots." I said, "What?" I mean, I was late to the 21 Pilot game. And when they first came out, I was like, I passed over it. Yeah. But the last few years, I've been unwrapping and finding what you're saying. Wow, these guys are straight up. But anyway, so my son, that's his favorite band. So I'll play this for him. He'll be happy. But now I can see, not that I can see it, but I was mentioning earlier, like a little bit of a hip hop vibe to some of the lyrical flow.
Right.
So maybe that's where the influence came from. I don't know.
Maybe.
But
yeah.
Anyway, cool. So cool. So Bright Eyes and 21 Pilots, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I never thought about that. That's interesting.
Back to the process. So you're looking the new album. You just like, I want it to be honest. I want it to be real. You bring the songs to the band. The band is like, dude, we got to change this. Maybe we should change this. And you're like, ouch, that hurts. But ultimately, a little pushback for a bit. Mm-hmm. You kind of come together and you find a sweet spot.
Yeah.
And then you create this album.
Yep.
So going from there, so the new album is called Lost It at Day One.
Yes.
And so going from now, you got the songs to the album. How was that process? Did you have them all written first, go into a studio and just take them out, bang them out, or was it more just drawn out over time?
Initially, we had them all drawn out, but we weren't planning on doing 14 songs, which is what it ended up being.
Yeah, I think it's like 52 minutes or something, which I said, wow,
that's... Oh my gosh.
It's something which I love because nobody makes long albums anymore. Yeah. So good job for being brave. But yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So what we did is like I was saying earlier, I've got this buddy who lives in Wyoming, and he was a producer, and he's helped us a lot. He's just like, yeah, I'll do all the songs. So we went up, we spent a few days there, and we just tried to like crack through all these songs. And because we were in such a hurry, that wasn't turning it out. And then, like he disappeared. We went through another producer, then we changed bands, and we got different band members. It just kept changing so much. So over time, then it did become drawn out. And though we had like these certain songs chosen, then we threw in like, oh, well, this take forever. Let's throw in some new stuff because we're bored playing these all the time. So like, oh, let's throw in Second Chances. Let's throw in a Low Point, and that's kind of what it morphed into.
Did you guys slave over the track listing? Was that a big deal, or was it like, I mean, that can be...
It's tricky, yeah.
It's awful because it's all about this flow and what's the feeling you want to put off. Did this one come pretty natural, or was it just a back and forth?
This one was so this was me and Sam, the keyboardist. We kind of sat down and we're like, okay, so this song obviously has to be first. because it's one of the first ones we've released as a like a good intro vibe.
Yeah.
But then we were trying to go for that flow. But then all of a sudden I said, Sam, like, what if we had like a secret message going through the words?
Yeah.
And like he's like, oh, that's sweet. So we were like trying to like write them out. I think I had like really stupid ones. I wish I could remember them all. Like I have them written down. They're so bad.
like a secret code throughout the album.
Yeah, like it's spelling out like if I don't know if you look at the singles, there's a highlighted letter in each song.
Okay.
And then if you look at the back of the physical CD, it spells out "Lost It at Day One." So it's like the L from Jealousy is highlighted, and then Lose Control is second. So the O in Lose Control.
Yeah.
So
And what does it spell? Lost It at Day One.
Lost It at Day One. And so
fun.
Sam came up with that.
That's cool, man.
I was like, Lost It at Day One. That's sweet. Like what should that be? Should we create a song called Lost It at Day One? Should our next album be called that? Because normally an artist's first official album is just like a self-titled album.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we've been at this a while, and then this is fun. So that's kind of what determined the order was that, and I'm happy with it.
I want to ask this question now. It's a little bit out of order as far as where this conversation is going, but I don't want to forget it.
Okay, yeah.
So, is there an underlying message throughout the album? So, because we're going to jump into it after this question, we're going to talk about it. There are obviously it's a reflection of here's my interpretation. It's a reflection of what's going on in your life, the battle, the struggle, and there's ups and downs. Why did he start the album? So if the track listing is a flow and you're trying to almost tell a journey or a story, I go, he started out with Jealousy. Okay, I can see that. Goes on, and he ends with a song, Demon, I'm Not Giving Up, which is more hopeful,
Right,
but
yeah.
also honest. Is there an underlying message here that you want people to walk away from after hearing it? Or what do you want them to feel or think?
Music's not for everybody. So I feel like those who will click with this music are people who are going through something similar to what I'm going through. So I just hope that those people can get out of it what I got out of it. Like I honestly, it's like probably the most selfish album because like I wrote it for me. It was like, I'm going through a hard time right now.
Yeah.
Well, then I write out this song and then it helped me. And then it's a compilation of those songs.
Do you intend it to help? Like, would you want it to help people?
Oh, absolutely. I would love that.
Okay.
But at the same time, like I realized that like I can't write music for the intention to try to please and help people.
Sure. Yeah,
It,
you gotta be back to the honesty.
Yeah. So like I'm firstly doing it for me.
Okay, I love it.
But I'm choosing the songs to show the band that like hopefully can be impactful in a good way.
Let me ask you this, because everything you're saying I can resonate with as a songwriter. I always write for me first.
Yeah.
And I generally, just like you, it's when I'm going through stuff and it's kind of like I want to tell the tale of this experience, you know?
Right, yeah.
Which for me usually ends on a happy note. I get through it. I'm still here, right? 2020, I'm 36 years old. I'm alive. I didn't always think it would be that way, to be honest, you know? And then the next thing is if I can help someone connect and bring them up and lift them up, then I did good.
That's awesome. I love your music, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. And so writing for myself first, I'm 36. I've been writing actually for 20 something years.
Dang.
I've come to feel like, because for me, some of my best songs just come to me. I've come to start interpreting that my own way, that they're almost gifts for me to help me. Mm-hmm. If they can help anyone else, that's cool. Anyway, and so my own songs, as crazy as this might sound to other people, help me more than anybody. I need these songs, is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
Do you resonate with that? Does any of that feel true to you?
Absolutely. Completely. Yeah. Yeah. Like I need this. It's like the lyrics to that last song, Demon, I'm Not Giving Up.
Yeah.
Mentions, maybe this song could be medicine to me. That's how I mean it. It's like, this is like medicine to me. These songs, I need this. And yeah, like I don't know where I would be. I don't think I would be in a good place without music. So like I'm grateful for the journey I've been on, but I'm so happy that I can figure out like I don't want to please everybody. Like I'm doing this because I need this.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, it's a part of your therapy. It's a part of keeping you alive, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that being said too, like I obviously don't want to write music that sucks, and if it sucks, I'm really sad that I can't pick up on that right now.
Yeah.
But so I'm definitely trying to improve and make it likable because I want people to want to listen to my music, I obviously want to do this as a full-time career.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that's what I'm working on. So.
And so is that what, or is the whole band on that page? Are you guys wanting to take this and like, what is the goal right now, the dream? Are you wanting to get signed, or are you wanting to just go out and gain fans on your own, social, Spotify, etc.? What are you guys looking to do? Hoping to do?
Yeah. Well, the hope is like, I just want as many people in the entire world who can hear this music. I want them to hear the music, because then I can, if the music has helped me, then it can help particular people who need it, and if it can go across everybody's ears,
Yeah.
Even if it's 1 out of 1,000, then it just helped one person. That's what I want. So my take is like, as big as I can get it without still losing my liberty with songwriting, that's where I want to take it.
Okay. Awesome. So let me ask you this: being a songwriter who cares about vulnerability and being honest. So I know what that's like. Every performance, every song, you put your guts into it. Now let's talk a little bit about the rejection that comes with being a songwriter, because it is hard. You put your heart and soul into something, and you say, check this song out, and they go, that's all right. Or they don't bother. Or your song gets 2,000 plays, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
How's that been for you? Is that a mental struggle for you, or have you found a way to deal with that well?
I think I'm just kind of blocking it mentally. I mean, at this point, I feel like I've been doing music for so long. It's been like 8 years.
Okay.
To me, that feels like forever, because it's like you watch any video and you're like, whoa, they went big overnight, and that's never true.
No, it's not true.
But it's like, it still messes with your mind.
Yeah,
and
you see that.
Yeah, and so like for me, I am. It does bother me a little bit, but I feel like I've been dealing with rejection the whole time, because like I feel like from where I started to where I'm at now, I feel like it's gone nowhere. But I guess I don't want to be a negative person.
No, but you're being honest. Yeah,
and so I'm trying to. I'm still giving up on trying to get it out there, but I definitely am surprised by certain songs, like, what, that song took off, but this one, which is awesome, or is our favorite, is going nowhere, and it is a little frustrating, but like at this point, like I'm too far in to just give up.
Yeah.
And so I'm just cracking away.
I think something that every creator deals with is this, in the back of his head, this doubt, right? This little voice, it's like, dude, I can't make this. This is too hard for me. Mm-hmm. And so I can relate to that. Awesome, man. So let's go ahead and jump into the album a little bit.
Yeah.
We've talked about Ghosts. We've played a little bit of the song Ghosts. So you started off with the song Jealousy, and I've kind of referred to it already. You got the ukulele, you got guitars, super ridiculously catchy pop song.
Thank you.
That turns into this like 80s bass, this whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. So fun. And that's why I'm like, okay, this album's going to be fun, man. I'm about to hit the beach. And, but then, like I said, we get into layers. And as I dig deeper into it, I start seeing a little bit of the substance comes out. And we've talked about Ghosts a little bit, which is the third track. Mm-hmm. So on the fourth track is Ancestors.
That's right.
This song, and how many? There are 14 songs total. Mm-hmm. So we're going in this direction. And then the fourth track, you just kind of, for me, you spin it on its head. It's like the sounds are different sonically.
Yeah.
The concept, it just has a different vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about where the heck did that come from?
Yeah, it is weird for sure. I went that direction because I just feel like we live in like a music ADD culture. So, I mean, I feel like I could get away with it. And
okay.
So I was like, well, I don't want all my songs to sound the same. Like, I feel like so many bands that I've listened to, I'm just bored because all the songs kind of sound the same. And so I want an album that like I actually want to listen to,
so
that's why.
Did you feel like at this point? So was Ancestors written later when you guys were recording and producing the album, or was it early in? Like
it was pretty early, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was something like, hey, we got all these songs, I want to mix it up. Let's just totally do something different. So that's not how it came across.
No, not at all. Yeah, the Ancestors was one of the demos that I given to the band too. So it was already like hashed out of like the vibe it's gonna have. It totally different, but everybody's down with it. Brad, our drummer, loved it. He created the coolest drum rhythm to it that was
well, it fits. Unexpected. It's got this ancestral, like caveman. I don't know. It's got this ancient thing happening.
It fits so good.
Awesome. A few of these songs are really fun. I mentioned Jealousy, and the one I want to talk about, Headache.
Yeah.
Were they as fun to create as it is for me to listen to, or was it like brutal trying to get these to where they are? Because in my mind, I'm like, dude, these guys are having a blast. They locked themselves in the studio. He's got the ukulele, drums. You know, they're just going to town, and boom, here it is. Is that how it happened?
No. Well, okay, so Jealousy, yeah. Jealousy, like, I wrote it in, like, under an hour. I was like, okay, cool. Showed the band. We made some changes. Cool. We went and recorded it and, demoed and then recorded it. And it kind of fell into place really easily. We only changed, like, there was going to be a bridge, then it became a break.
Yeah.
And that was it. So Headache, though, that was a bit of a headache in and of itself. So, wow. Did not... Gosh, that was cheesy.
Damn.
Yeah. So like we recorded, we had all the parts down. We worked with the producer on this one. We gave it to him, and then it was like, man, this song was good. Why is it not good anymore? Like, it's missing something. And so I was gonna just meet with the producer to figure this out, because it's like, we need to release this song soon. Let's just figure this out. So on my drive there, I was just like,
To the studio.
yeah,
Okay.
yep. And I was just like praying. I was like, what could this be? Like, what song? And then like a song that came to my head that could be like inspiring for it. And I thought of Ronald Gregory Erickson II. That song, so I listened to it, and then I showed my producer, and I was like, what if we had this vibe to this song? And then he's like, oh, that's cool. It's just like this percussive loop that keeps going. So what we did is we sat down and then made some weird noises. There's like a woo in it, and then we actually put Owen Wilson's voice in it, and so
That's Owen Wilson?
Owen Wilson going wow. So if you listen,
Every song needs Owen Wilson, man. That dude, I'm doing that.
yeah. So it's like it's super subtle. It's in there though. If it's like wow and woo, I think it's like right before that. It's really subtle. It's like on an offbeat, and then we also put Owen Wilson on the physical CD too, but it's really small, and it's also
It's a little tiny Owen Wilson.
yeah, like in the filament of the light bulb. So there's like a head,
Yeah,
and then
I'm
there's a
looking
light
at it.
bulb, and then really, really small. It's only on the CD though. I don't know if you'll find it there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we put a picture of him there. And it's really,
That's
really
fun,
hard
man.
to see. But
That's
yeah.
fun. So the song Headache we're talking about, this is the one where I really started feeling this conflict, this inner conflict that you talk about.
For sure, yeah.
This was the song I'm going, holy cow, like I had some, going into the album, I had some feelings like, all right, something's up. This guy's going through some stuff. And then when I heard Headache, but first of all, so well written. This song gives me a headache because it's so catchy, man. It's like, honestly, like I heard this, I was like, why is this song not everywhere? Why am I not turning on the radio and hearing this song?
Oh,
it's
thanks.
a great song. It's fun. It's a pop song, but there's depth to it.
Okay.
And then it moves. I'm going to skip a few where it goes into low point.
Yeah.
Now talk about this is the darkest moment of the album.
Yeah.
Did you
right.
like, as I'm listening to the lyrics, did you just like pick up a guitar and literally write and sing what you were feeling? Because that's how it comes across.
Yeah, that is what happened. And actually, Low Point is actually the oldest song on the album, which is funny because we decided all these songs, we thought, and then Sam joined in, Sam the keyboardist, and we had 13 songs, and I'm like, I don't want an uneven number on an album. It's either 12 or 14, and
Okay.
I want as
What you
many.
got against odd numbers, man?
I don't know. OCD probably. I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm like 13. No one does that. It's weird. So I'm like, Sam, you just joined in. You didn't get to help as much in creating this album as you probably would have liked to. Is there a song that you want to do? And because I've done bands with Sam in the past, we did a band called Wide Eyed McNair in like 2013. And that song was one of the songs we did. It's actually one of the first songs I wrote.
Okay.
And then he's like, let's take this song. So we took it, and then he could put a really cool spin on it, and it worked out. I'd never thought it would work out this good, and it's amazing.
How was it when you heard that song back? Because it's so honest, man. It's painfully honest, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, it was well, we had actually produced it once before, and
Okay.
so like that version was like it kind of sucked, but I mean we're beginners, so it was really good for being a beginner. But hearing it the way that he produced it, I was just like, this is like ear candy, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like I want to listen to this over and over. He did a really catchy groove with it, and it's not too long. So yeah, that's kind of where it
Awesome.
came from.
So, and then we've talked about the song ends, or the album, I'm sorry, ends
Yeah.
on the song Demon, I'm Not Giving Up.
Yeah.
which for me was like, I felt that was intentional, whether it was or not, that you, regardless if you've shared yourself on this album, but you wanted the listeners to walk away going, don't give up. It's okay.
Right.
We all have demons. Just keep going.
Yeah. I wrote that line as a reassurance to myself. And
Don't give up.
Yeah. It's
Gotcha.
like, all right, I'm not giving up. Maybe if I tell it to myself a million times, it'll sink in. And so we actually use that a lot in our live performance too. We'll get the audience to sing it, and then when the song dies out, we keep them singing it until we
Cool.
cut it off. And so it's pretty fun.
So overall, I love just a great album, man. I hope you feel awesome about what you've created.
Thank you.
Regardless of how many Spotify plays, how many people are listening. I mean, look, I'll be honest. I listen to it. I'm like, I don't know why this isn't a hit record. But that's
thanks,
okay.
man.
But you got to feel good about creating something so real and fun and depth. Full of depth.
For sure. Yeah. No, I don't think I could be disappointed. Because it's like I've said a million times. Like, it's honest.
Okay.
I love how the art turned out. I love how we portray it when we perform. Like, even if it goes nowhere, like I'm not disappointed.
What's happening next? Where is the Bright Slide going, and what are you hoping to do over the next year or so?
Yeah. So the next year we are kind of reevaluating as a band. Like, okay, like, how do we want to write now? Obviously, trying to get more inclusive, and then I'm pursuing my solo music. So we're probably going to release like my assumption at this point is probably like 3 or 4 song EP as a band.
Okay.
And we're going to try different writing styles. Already got one song that we're already playing with that's really good, really catchy. And then I'm also working on solo music right now, and working with Sam, a keyboardist. He's helping me. Like, I help write music with him for his solo stuff, and he produces my stuff. So it's like, freedom, I guess.
Awesome. And that's what it's about, is freedom.
Yeah.
What's been the hardest part of this journey? You've been playing, and you've been out there for 8 years.
Yeah.
And we talked about some rejection that musicians experience all the time, the highs and lows. What's been something that you're like, I don't know if I can do this anymore? Has there been a moment like that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. It feels like every year there was always a point of like, I don't know. And it would be low, and it would suck. And then it was just like, oh, no, I got out of that funk. This is great. But then, like, this past, I would say the past 6 months even have been like the lowest of lows. It was to the point where I was like,
Sorry to hear that, man.
yeah, no, it's fine. I mean,
Is that band wise or just
band wise? Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah. It was to the point because it's like it was to the point where I felt like I put so much time, energy, and then my worth into this band, and it's like I couldn't figure out how to make this work. And it was to the point where I was like telling some of the members of the band, well, I think it was probably Sam, or maybe it was Melissa, but it doesn't matter. What I was saying was that I was telling them that I was like, I don't even know if I want to release the album. Like,
Wow.
And we're like 2 weeks away, and I'm like I don't even want to do this. Like, I'm so unhappy, and like I don't think this is gonna work out. And then, look at me now. Still hasn't worked out, but yeah.
But you stayed in.
But yeah. So
Well,
it comes and goes. I mean, that happened a lot for the past 6 months. So.
I think that's almost every artist I've talked to, they have this like doubt back of their mind, this constant battle. Like, am I good enough? Is this good? Is this garbage? And it sounds like you're not any different than the rest of us.
No way. And what's funny is like I got lunch with an old business professor of mine today, and something that she told me when I took her class years ago that has helped me like crazy is, so she worked a lot with other famous people. I think it was a lot of NBA and stuff like that. And what she started to pick up on and learn was that it was like this 15-year thing where people, when they pursued something, it always picked up into big success within 15 years, sometimes less, but it never was past that. And so
that's the magic, that 15-year point.
Yeah, so that's like ringing in my head. It's like, okay, I'm 8 years in. I'm more than halfway. Like, let's just keep going. I'm way too deep into this game to give up. And so, I mean, obviously, like, I don't know if she did like a full-on like study across the nation, but like that's something that's keeping me in there right now, and it keeps me looking forward to it. Because
I love it, and I actually agree. In business, I've found somewhere between 15 to 20 years. If the guys that can stay in it that long, they usually just excel. I mean, the business just
interesting.
Yeah, so there's
awesome.
some truth in that. Not just in music. Maybe there's some crazy connection out there.
Hopefully.
My last question for you: if you could interview anyone, living or dead, musician, who would it be, and what would you ask him?
Oh my gosh. Oh, good question. I guess I would love to talk to some of my idols. I would love to talk to Tyler Joseph from 21 Pilots because of where I'm at musically. I feel like is because of what he wasn't afraid to release as music. So I would love to.
What would you ask Tyler?
What would I ask him? Oh man, ask him like, how the heck did you do this? Like, it's like, how did you go from a nobody band to something? Whereas, everyone else is just like, oh, my uncle knew somebody, or yeah, like the grind that he went through. How the heck did you do it? That's what I would ask him.
Awesome. All right. Well, no one said that yet. 21 Pilots.
Yeah.
I've had a few people say Michael Jackson. So.
Oh man. Oh, that'd be interesting. Like, were you creepy? yeah.
Michael, were you creepy? Well, we're not gonna talk about that. I love Michael Jackson, and I don't know.
I love his music.
I just have to tell myself not all of it's true, but was he creepy? We kind of have the answer to that. But anyway,
Right.
Michael, were you creepy? Anyway, so Rob here with the Bright Slide. This is just a great band. They've just come out with a great album. He talks about some of the ups and downs and just some of the doubts and the hardships of being a creator. But he's back up. He's still in it. He's 8 years into it, and hopefully, I hope for my sake, for all of our sakes, he can get to that 15-year point because I think you have a lot to say. And I think that when I get in deep into your music and what you're creating, I think there's something unique and special there. So I hope you can stay in it, man. If you don't get 1 million plays, I believe in it. And, I hope for anyone who's out there, if you want to check out the last album, the most recent album is called Lost It at Day One. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it everywhere. We'll put a link below in the show notes.
Oh, thank you.
If you want to you may not care, but Ete's favorites, my favorites are Ghost and then Headache. Those are the two that I love. So if you haven't heard these guys, I'd start there. And then probably I'd go down into Low Point and then maybe even the Jealousy just to get an overall vibe of what he's putting out.
Nice.
But great band. I hope you guys continue it and do great things. Thank you for your contributions and the great music that you've created.
Thank you.
And thanks for taking some of your time and coming down and chat with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I'll see you on the next episode.
I could come up with a metaphor for you, but the truth is you don't wanna do that. The truth is you don't wanna do that. The truth is you don't wanna do that. I can't think of a place where my dreams come true. I'm conflicted between the good and bad. I'm conflicted between the good and bad. The truth is you don't wanna do that, yeah. I've got a headache, imagine that. I could be so strong, but I'm caught up between what is right, what is wrong. I've got a headache with all this crime.